saying isn't right. I just want good energy, yeah. Not trying to make an enemy, yeah. But here's the truth. Baby, I am hooked on you. But you don't want me like you used to do. If it's a phase I'm going through, it's true. I'm bound to lose, 'cause I'm hooked on you. Baby, I'm hooked on you. Baby, I'm hooked on you. Desire got a hold on me, heavy but so heavenly. Laying down this beat, stuck playing on repeat. You got me tripping, it's not right. You keep running through my mind. I just want good energy, but finding it's like pulling teeth. But here's the truth. Baby, I am hooked on you. But you don't want me like you used to do. If it's a phase I'm going through, it's true. I'm bound to lose, 'cause I'm hooked on you. Baby, I'm hooked on you. Baby, I'm hooked on you. Baby, I am hooked on you. But you don't want me like you used to do. If it's a phase I'm going through, it's true. I'm bound to lose, 'cause I'm hooked on you. Baby, I'm hooked on you. Baby, I'm hooked on you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our music director's office hours today. My name is Keiko McTingley, and I'm going to be your host today. I have been with APM for close to 10 years. I'm a senior music director, and I'm really familiar with how to use our website as well as surfacing the best tracks. And I'm passionate about helping you all do the same. So I'm happy that you're here. I'm excited to dive in. The purpose of our session today is really just to get familiar with the site, answer any questions you have on how to find music, using certain features on the site that you're just not sure about. So feel free to submit any of your questions through the Zoom Q&A. And I also have the questions that some of you submitted upon registration. And if we don't get through everything today, we will be in touch. If your question goes unanswered, we want to make sure you have the help you need. So we will reach out if we are not able to address it during our live session. The first thing I like to do to kick off our session is kind of get an idea of what you are all working on. I had this poll out here, and if you're curious, we have a pretty wide array of the projects that you're all working on. So that's cool. We can cover a lot of different ground there. And then the other thing that I like to do is ask you all if you prefer working in light mode or dark mode. And then I will switch my my settings on our search website based on your preferences. So while you all answer that poll, I'm going to jump into a highlighted feature that I want to talk about today because I think it's going to tie into a lot of the questions some of you all submitted. So the highlighted feature for today is sonic similarity. We are really excited about this feature. So if you follow us on social or you get our newsletters, you probably have seen this come up. And just want to give you a quick demo of it so that when we dive into it in other scenarios, you can see how it works. So sonic similarity allows you to use a reference track, a link, or a file. You upload it into our site, and then it'll come back with APM tracks that are similar to the sound of that reference. You can use YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Vimeo, SoundCloud, links. I feel like I'm missing one more, so I'll check on that for you. And then the file types accepted are MP3 and WAV for now. I think we're working on accepting MP4s and a few other file types, so just to make things easier for you all. So let me end this poll. It looks like it's a good split between light and dark mode, but dark mode wins out. It often does. So we will do that. Okay, let me show you how the sonic similarity works. I'm going to navigate to our website. And then let me grab a reference track. And since, tis the season, we may as well just dive right into it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the link to this song on Spotify. And then I'm going to go to our website and paste it here. And it will analyze it. And let's see what we have. I think that nails the Christmas style and the vocals, but this seems like it's more focused around the beginning of the song, the slower parts, and not as much as the up-tempo parts. So let's see if we can find another one that is more akin to the up-tempo parts of that song. Yeah, these last two are more in the realm of what I was looking for. And one thing that can kind of help you hone in from here, you can add additional terms to narrow your search, even like with your Spotify link in here. So I noticed this one has a 62 BPM, whereas the ones that I liked were more in the 150 range. So I might then add in a tempo filter to make sure that I'm only looking at tracks that are up tempo. That's just one way to kind of help the algorithm hone in on what you're looking for. Okay, so let's dive into some of the questions you all submitted. And since we're on the topic of holiday music, one question that I have here is, how can I find holiday music that isn't religious or specifically Christmas music? So we get this request a lot, and a lot of times people are looking for, the way that I tend to interpret this is that they want something that is bright and sparkly, but not like we wish you a Merry Christmas. So the way that I will search for this, I'll search for Christmas. And then let's say we want pop. It's always good to narrow it in on a genre. And then what I'll do is we have a tag for well-known tunes. So I just added it into my search bar. And this is actually what we don't want, right? We don't want a well-known tune that is associated with Christmas. So what I'll do is click on this down arrow and then use my not my exclude option to remove songs that are well known. And then, yeah, let's listen to some of this. Yeah, so all definitely within the holiday theme and suitable for ads and things like that, that you just want that holiday vibe, but nothing specific to the Christmas holiday itself or religious aspects and all that kind of stuff. This is a good way you can exclude well-known tunes and narrow your search down from there. Okay, next question. What's the difference between tagged like and sounds like, and why would I use one over the other? This is a great question, and what they're talking about are these two buttons over here that you'll see on each track. So sounds like is our sonic similarity. In addition to being able to put in a Spotify link, YouTube link, MP3 file, etc., into your search bar, you can also run a sonic similarity search on an APM track, and that's what this sounds like button does. The tagged like button looks for songs that are similarly tagged, and our tags are these like metadata tags that you'll see underneath the track, as well as if you hit the info button, you can see all of the metadata and tags in here. And a side note, if you're not seeing these underneath your track, you can go to the customize wheel and then you would turn them on here. This will toggle them on and off. And you can also customize other aspects of how you want your search results to look. That's in here. Okay, so the tagged like button is going to look for, like I said, tracks that are similarly tagged. It's not looking at the audio waveform specifically the way that the sounds like one does. And so I really look at these two things not as one is better than the other or using one or the other. They're just two different tools in your toolkit that they can both be useful. So let's run an example on what the difference of that might be. So let's listen back to this. We're here. So Christmas Pop Poppin' song and hear what that sounds like. Okay, I'm going to click sounds like. And let's listen to these tunes. Pretty similar tempo and style. Okay, definitely all in the same wheelhouse as this Christmas Poppin' song. Let's try the tagged like and see how that's different. Yeah, so definitely a little bit of a different vibe, right? But if you're looking for tracks that are more just generally with a similar mood, but not necessarily sounds exactly like this Christmas Poppin' song, then tagged like might be a better route for you if you want a wider a range of different genres or different styles. You don't want exactly the same track, then tagged like might be for you. If you need it to be as close as possible in sonic similarity, sounds like might be the better tag. And that can be especially useful if you have a track with vocals and you're trying to find other tracks with vocals with a similar vocal tone. I'm going to suggest sounds like for that one because the tags can't tell you what the voice sounds like, right? So analyzing that waveform using sounds like is going to get you the closest to a vocal match. Hopefully that answers that question. If you have any follow-up questions about that, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. Okay, another one. Can I find soundalikes in the same key? How can I do a key search? This is cool because this is a new feature to our new website that we're really excited about. So let me show you where you can find that. In the left panel, if you scroll down, there's a filter for key right here. And if you already know what key you are looking for, this is the fastest way to drop it into the search bar. So you can just pick the key from here in our lovely circle of fifths. You can, right now I'm in include keys mode, so I can select multiple of these to include any of these keys. If you wanted to just exclude one of them, it's faster to hit exclude key and then just pick the one you want to exclude. We are working on a button where you can include all major keys or include all minor keys because sometimes you're not particular about the specific key. You just want something major or minor. In the meantime, a workaround is just to select each one around the circle in the major keys if you want that, or around the circle in the minor keys if you want that. If you don't know the key of the song that you're trying to match, if it's a well-known song, a quick Google search can usually tell you what key that is. If it's not a well-known song, you can find websites that you can upload the song and it'll tell you what key the song is in. So I want to run through an example of this. A lot of the use cases for searching for a song by key, in my experience, has been they've found a song that they like and they need other songs that will complement it that are in the same key. So running through that example, let's go to our, let's do trailers. And I'll just play this first song. Okay, that's working for me. And now I'm like, what key is this in? How can I find other tracks in the same key? If you click on the info button and then scroll down in here, it has the key here, G minor. And what's neat is that I can just click it from here and it'll drop it into my search bar. And so now I'm looking at trailer tracks. All of them are in G minor and I can find songs that will complement this first one. Cool. Okay, next question. I'm looking for pop and jazz music from the 60s, but when I put in both genres, I feel like I'm missing a bunch of options. This is a good time to talk about the difference between doing an and sort search or an or search. And it's a little bit confusing, so as I go through this, if you have follow-up questions about it, please put them in the Q&A so I can address them. But so this person is looking for pop and jazz from the 1960s. And probably what I assume you're doing is if you drop in 1960s, and then maybe you went to genre and you selected pop and you selected jazz. And you're like, okay, I have 567 titles, which is, quite a lot, but I feel like there should be more. especially with our massive archival collection. So what's going on here? What is going on here is that this search is looking for tracks that are tagged with both pop and jazz, as opposed to one or the other. So you're going to get limited options just because the results have to have both tags, pop and jazz. If you are looking for pop or jazz, you can actually just edit the tags from here. I would click on this down arrow and then hit edit. It'll pull them up here, and then I'm just going to change my and to an or. And do you see how my titles now I have close to 6,000 options? That's because this search is looking for tracks that are tagged with 1960s, and then it could be tagged with jazz, or it could be tagged with pop, or it could be both. But it doesn't have to have both the way that an and search does. So an or search is going to give you a lot more options than an and search, which really narrows things down. Let me run through another example of how this might be applicable to you. Let's say you are looking for something funk related and you like the hand percussion sounds of bongos and congas, but you don't really care which one it is because they sound pretty similar in that context, right? So I would probably put in funk, and then I can go bongos, and I can go congas. So again, in this context, these are all of our funk tracks with both bongos and congas. It has to have both of them. But again, if I go to edit and I change my and to an or, now these are tracks with congos or bongos. It could be either, and I have a lot more options here. Cool. Thanks for that question, because I think it's actually going to lean into a couple other questions that have been submitted here. So like this next one, can I search for tracks that blend genres like jazz funk or electronic rock? Definitely yes. And some of those established genres we would have in here in the genre tag in the left panel. You can, like if I type in jazz, you'll see all of these different types of jazz, including jazz funk, jazz rock, etc. But another good way to find two genres that meld together is to just add both of them into your search bar. And in this case, this is where you would want an and search, right? You're looking for something that is both of these things. So an example that we get a lot from our advertising and as well as like TV folks is something that mixes a sort of gospel vibe with pop. So I would just put in both of those genres, gospel and pop. And let's see.
Men on fire, burning with life, rising higher, full desire, all day and night. When your heart the water, and I know it's true. Love is for so many times I pray all through the darkest days.
Yeah, so like I said, just putting in the two genres will help you get that mix. Another example would be country and hip hop. And then you can narrow your search down from here. For example, let's say I want something that has vocals. I can use this quick filter on the left side, has lyrics. And
With me tonight, do the two-step with me tonight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who ready for a two-step party? Try to grab your friends, tell
yeah, so that would be the fastest way to find tracks that blend those two genres together. Okay, next question. I am not sure how to describe the music I'm looking for. Any tips? Yes. So for starters, going back to sonic similarity, this is a really great tool if you're just not exactly sure how to describe the song you're looking for, but you have a reference. Utilize sonic similarity, put that link in the search bar or the audio file that you have, and that's a great place to get started. If you don't have a reference link or a reference track in mind and you just aren't sure where to start, the best place to go is this left panel where we have all of our tags laid out for you so you can kind of browse around and see what is suiting your needs. So I always like to drop in at least a mood and a genre to get you started, and then you can narrow things down from there as you listen and decide what's working and what's not. So let's say I go to mood and I am looking for something uplifting. And then I would go to genre. And I like pop. Let's see if I can narrow it down a little bit. If I click on that area, now I see all of these subgenres of pop, and electro pop sounds like that might work for me. And then let's see, a character is always useful to kind of help narrow down the qualities of that song. So going through here, I need something that builds. And then lastly, let's say I need something that has lyrics. We have a quick filter that I just showed in our previous one. I'm going to click that has lyrics to get things going from there. Okay, let's listen to these.
I am the sunlight, like in a magazine. I'm in your old dreams, deep in your memories. Everywhere I go, you're sucking me to find my lips, baby. Expect me to show what you're looking for, baby. All I know your being is rocking on your.
Okay, so let's say I really like this song. And now I have some more information about what I'm actually looking for, right? I have a song, I have a reference track, and I also have all of the tags that this song has. All of these down here are now keywords that I can use for my search. And if you just click on one, it'll pop into the search bar for you. But the first thing that I always like to do once I find a song that's working for me is run a sounds like search. Okay, so it drops that in as my seed track, and then it's gonna come back with all of its alternate versions in case there was another version that I was looking for. And then let's listen to something similar. Yeah, so those definitely seem similar to me. And then you can always add additional terms here to your search as you need to narrow things down. And looking at the tags underneath the track that is working for you is a great way to get more inspiration. And like I said, you can find more tags if you click on info on the track. And then you'll have all of the tags here. You can click on any of these and it'll drop into your search bar. Another tip that I like to mention, if you have a reference track and you want to search by genre, but you don't know what the genre is, if it's a well-known track, you can usually look up that song on just with a quick Google search and it'll tell you what the genre is of that track. So that's a good starting point as well. Okay, next question. How can I find songs that have background vocals but not full lyrics? Okay, let's run through an example of that then. So you want something that has background vocals, meaning maybe it has some like oohs and ahs, or maybe it has like a come on or a let's go, but not full lyrics. So the first thing that I like to do in this scenario, we just said we don't want something with lyrics. So I'm going to exclude lyrics from my search. The fastest way to do that is to click has lyrics as if you're adding the lyrics to your search and then using the exclude. So I clicked on that down arrow and then I'm clicking on exclude. Okay, then so right now these are all just tracks that don't have lyrics, which doesn't necessarily mean they have any vocals at all. And I'm looking for background vocals. So this is probably a mix of songs that have background vocals as well as instrumental only songs. So how I would like to go about adding some tags to get us those background vocals, I would go to voices in the left panel. And then a few of these would probably work for me. So, and I don't really want to have to just pick one of them. So what I'm going to do is I see these three here, vocal background, vocal phrase and shout out, and voice texture. Let me look at tracks that are tagged with any one of these. So I'll add vocal background and then I'll do an or search with vocal phrase and voice texture. Okay, so now we're looking at tracks that don't have lyrics. But they do have either a vocal phrase and shout out, or they have background vocals, or they have voice textures. Let's listen to this one. Okay, so this is a great example of when genre and putting in your preferences might be really important. I'm not looking for an epic choir song. I'm probably looking for something that's maybe pop or rock that has just oohs and ahs or something like that. So just playing this one song alone gives me more information on how to narrow my search from here. And I see that it mentions choir, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to add choir. And I'm going to exclude it. And then I also think I should probably narrow down the genre that I'm looking for. So let's do pop. Okay, let's listen here. Oops. They're really subtle. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm hearing some haze and woos in there. And let's see what this one is like. Yeah, so from here you can add additional tags as you decide what's working and what's not working. But that's how I like to go about finding songs that have vocal background stuff, but not lyrics. Okay. Next question. Can I share my playlists or search results with collaborators? Yes. So the best way to share a playlist or search results, I'll cover these separately. So your playlist, you can find them by going to my APM and then playlists. And so let's say I want to share this acoustic folk folder with one of my colleagues. I can click on the three dots and then hit send playlist. And then you can email it to them directly from here, or you can also copy the link. If you click this button, it will generate a share link that you can then send to your colleagues. You can also send, if you're using Disco, if that's something that your team uses, you can upload your tracks directly to your own Disco inbox by clicking the Disco button. And then the link that's been created here, whether you send it to a colleague or you just copy the link using the copy link button, that's going to be a static link, just a heads up. So anytime you update the playlist, you would need to generate a new link for your colleague to be able to see the changes. What we're currently working on, what's currently in development, are collaborative playlists, and that will allow your colleague to also, once you make a playlist collaborative, your colleague will be able to make edits to that track. The link that you use will be live, so you can see the changes that are made by your colleague and vice versa. So that's to come. We're really excited about that, and we'll keep you posted on that. The other part of this question was how to share search results. And the best way to do that, like let's say the search is really working for me, I want to send it to my colleague. There's a little hyperlink button here, and if I click that, you'll see down here, a thing just popped up, link has been copied to my clipboard. That's going to be the link to this particular search expression. That's what we call this. And so then your colleague can click on that link, see exactly all of these tracks in your search results, and then go from there as they can browse as well. Another thing while we're here talking about these icons that I should point out is, let's say this search expression is really working for you and you want to make sure that you can revisit it in the future. You can use this favorite heart button, click that, and then enter your name. I might call it background vocals. Save it. And then, oops. To access it again, I would go to my APM in the upper right-hand corner and then to favorites. And then, so you can also favorite tracks and albums, but we're talking about searches here, and you'll see it right here. Background folks, I want to revisit it. I just click on it and it'll pop those tags into my search bar. So this is cool because it's essentially like it'll always update based on whatever has been released this month. We do our releases every single month, and so this is working for me really well, and I want to go back to this search. So I went to my favorites, clicked on it, but I only want to see what's recently been released. So I can add this new releases quick filter, and then you can check out anything that's been recent. So that way you're not going back through tracks that you've already reviewed before. Okay, let's see. Is there a way to browse by cultural or regional styles, such as Latin, African, or Asian music? Yeah, so there's a couple ways to do this, and I'll walk through a few different strategies here. So the first most common way I would say is in the left panel, if you scroll down, there's a filter for region. And you can narrow things down by region, continent, or by country if you, go all the way down to that level. So this is probably the best way that I would suggest getting more authentic music to the region that you are trying to find music from. And things get really specific in here. So we have music from countries all around the globe and labels that specifically only record music in the country that they are producing. So there's a lot to choose from here, and that would be my first suggestion. The other thing that we get asked for a lot is music that emulates regions, but isn't really specific to a particular country. And you just want kind of like a flavor of it, not traditional folk music. So the other tags that we have genre-wise that can kind of help with this, we have a bunch of them under influence. So I just started to type in influenced and I see the tags come up here: African influence, Asian influence, Celtic, Latin, and Middle Eastern. This is a good way to find tracks that are influenced by these regions, but aren't necessarily super traditional. So for example, let's just say I click Asian influenced and I'm working on a documentary. Oops, documentary. And so I'm looking for something that has some Asian inspired music, but could work still underneath like a documentary underscore. Yeah, so that I think could work as a documentary underscore. And just to kind of show you the difference, let's say I'm specifically looking for Chinese music and I go to the region itself, China, and then we hear this song. So it's a little bit more traditional. It has more traditional instruments throughout and gets a little bit more specific about the instruments being of this region. But, both strategies are good. It just kind of depends on what your needs are for your project. Okay, we have just a couple minutes left. And so let's see. Can you walk us through a music search from start to finish, including playlist creation and sharing? We did talk a little bit about sharing, but we haven't talked at all about playlist creation. So yeah, let's definitely do this. Let's say, since a bunch of you were working on trailers and promos, let's say I'm working on a trailer and I want the dramatic classical string vibe. I'm gonna first create a playlist. That's definitely step number one. And I have my playlist on the right panel sorted by genre. So I will add to my trailers folder here. I'm gonna create a new sub playlist by clicking the three dots and then new sub playlist. Let's call it dramatic classical trailers. And you can add additional details to this. Sometimes I like to add keywords so that it's easier for me to find in the future. If I hit create, so that way, if I ever am searching back through my playlists and I typed in epic and that was one of my keywords, it's going to come up in my search results. And to do that, you would just click I just clicked the magnifying glass up here and you can type in keywords from your playlist to find that. Okay, so I have my dramatic classical trailers playlist. Now let's find the music. With trailer music, definitely recommend the first place that you go is our quick filters for trailers. It's the fastest way to narrow down music that has specifically been made for trailers. So definitely recommend using that. And then let's say we were doing classical and epic, and let's say cinematic. Okay, so you go and you audition your tracks. And say this is really up what I'm looking for. So I'm going to add that track to my playlist. There are two ways to do this. You can click the plus button here, add to playlist. And then the playlist that you've most recently been working on will be highlighted already. So I can just click add like that. And then let's say I also like this track here. The other way to do it is to click and drag. So if I click and drag, and then you can drop it into your folder. You can also select more than one track at the same time. So if I've selected this one, and then I use Control to select another one, I'm holding down my Control to do that, or Command. Alternatively, you can use Shift to select all of them like that. So let's say all of these are in the vein that I'm looking for. From here, I'm just going to click and drag all 5 tracks into my playlist. Okay, so that's building a playlist. I know we're short on time, so I'm just gonna move straight to sharing the playlist or downloading it. So like we did before, you would click on the 3 dots, hit send playlist, and then, you can email it to someone else, you can email it to yourself, copy a link to it, and then you can also download it from here. You would select whatever file type you are working with, and you can just hit download from there. That's the very, very short and abbreviated way that I might go around doing a search from start to finish. Like you would probably spend more time drilling down into how to find more tracks like these, like some of the techniques we've already talked about, using sounds like, as well as clicking on some of these tags that are associated with this track. Cool. That is all the time we have for today. And I really want to appreciate you all being here and taking a look at our site and asking these super thoughtful questions. We're really excited about all of the features that have been launched on our new site, and we continue to develop more features. If you ever have any questions about any of that kind of stuff, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you need support, reach out to support@apmmusic.com, and we'll make sure that someone is in touch shortly. Oh, before you leave, also, I should point out we have a new live chat feature in the bottom right-hand corner. This is also a quick way to get in touch with our support team. So use live chat, use support@apmmusic.com, whatever your preference is, and we'll make sure we get you the help that you need. Thank you again so much for joining us, and I hope you join us next time.